Indeed, I am, John. Alabama hosted a big recruiting weekend. We'll get into who was here in a moment with Travis Reier from Bama Online, but right now, let's hear from Crimson Tide head coach Nick Saban, who talked yesterday about the plan from now until signing day.
Well, not being allowed to talk about specific recruits, we absolutely want to recruit the best character quality people that we can, that are the best students, that have the best opportunity to help us have a successful program and continue to have a successful program. And we have a lot of guys that are certainly in that category who have, sort of announced that they'd like to come to Alabama. And we also have a lot of guys that we're still recruiting relative to that. And hopefully, by getting a few of those guys, it'll really finish and round out this class in a positive way.
And to break down the visit weekend, we bring in our good friend Travis Reier from Bama Online. Travis, first let's take a look at the visit list from this weekend. And Nick Brazel's not on the list, the outstanding receiver from Batesville, Mississippi. More on him in a moment. But this was a list that I compiled this weekend of guys expected to be here. Phillip Dukes was scheduled to come in today, the rest of them coming in on Friday. Of course, Jadeveon Clowney, the #1 prospect in the nation. Isaiah Crowell, the outstanding running back from Columbus Carver. Phillip Dukes, the big defensive tackle from South Carolina. Malcolm Mitchell and Jay Room, teammates from Valdosta High School, that legendary program there in Georgia. And then 4 committed players on their officials this weekend. Marvin Shin, the wide receiver out of Viger. Jabril Washington, the multi-talented athlete from Tennessee. Ryan Kelly, the center from Ohio. And Bradley Sill, the speedster. You don't believe he's fast. Just watch that high school all-star game. Watch him take that kickback 92 yards. He is a burner out of Louisiana. Now, Travis, Alabama has 21 verbal commitments so far for 2011. But the Tide coaches, as you heard Nick Saban say, would love to add several more, beginning with the nation's top prospect, defensive end, Jadeveon Clowney.
No doubt about it. A guy who, when you watch him on tape, just a total difference maker. Maybe a guy who needs a couple of years to grow into a true defensive end position in a 3-4 defense. But as far as being able to put heat on a quarterback, which we saw this past season, Alabama needs an injection of energy there. That's a guy who could come in and do that. And, a nice blend this weekend, Gary, of committed players and uncommitted players. Sometimes those committed players can help you recruit just as much as anybody else you already have on campus.
Now, on Clowney, an update tonight on BOL that he really enjoyed his visit. They quoted someone close to him as saying it was a terrific visit. Still, though, South Carolina has to be in the catbird seat here. They're the home state school.
Yeah, they do, and they've had existing relationships in that Rock Hill area for years. They've done extremely well there with past players from that area. But it has been pretty much a 2-horse race throughout. The 2 names you've heard are South Carolina and Alabama predominantly. But he's been to South Carolina several times. But he has maintained a favorable opinion of Alabama. You get him on campus, you get his family on campus this weekend. That's all you can do, especially this late in the game.
Yeah, let Nick and Terry Saban work their magic together. When they get them over there at the house, I understand big things can happen. All right, let's talk about the nation's top uncommitted running back, Isaiah Crowell out of Columbus Carver. This looks like it's a 2-school race between Alabama and Georgia. Auburn trying to make a move, but I saw this weekend where Georgia offered his 5'10", 180-pound linebacker buddy. So obviously the dogs are all in.
I took that as good news for Alabama, because if the home state school this late in the recruitment of Crowell feels like they've got to make that move to secure a player like Crowell, that says Alabama has been doing a great job on this guy, and I think they have. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The question at the end, I think, is the allure of Georgia and the prospect of immediate playing time too much to overcome maybe for Alabama.
Let's talk about the Valdosta duo, Jay Roan, the tight end. I think most expect him to go elsewhere, but his teammate, Malcolm Mitchell, they're both going to announce on Thursday. Alabama's right there at the top of his list.
Yeah, another one. A lot of Alabama-Georgia battles, and that says a lot about this coaching staff, especially a guy like Kirby Smart, who does so well. Defensive coordinator for Alabama, recruits the state of Georgia as well as anybody. But, yeah, I think Malcolm Mitchell of those 2 that you mentioned, the more realistic of the 2 for Alabama, and a guy, when you watch him again in the All-Star games and on tape, just a football player, a guy who looks like he could play 2 or 3 positions, but a real playmaker on offense.
And let's talk now about Nick Snoop Brazel out of South Panola High School. Great program, like Valdosta over in Mississippi. Canceled his visit this weekend for quote-unquote personal reasons, some family issues there. I've talked to a lot of people, as you have, that say, hey, if it were up to Snoop, he'd come to Alabama. But we know how recruiting is, and there are a lot of factors, and it looks like it's going to be tough to get him out of the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, Alabama's had some success at South Panola in the past, but it's been sporadic at best, and it looks like Ole Miss could be tough to beat there in state, but another guy, when you talk about playmakers and the need for that on the offensive side of the ball, he could certainly help in that regard.
Finally, Travis, I mentioned 21 commitments. The new rule says you can only sign 28. Can't bring 25 in, but you used to could oversign into the 30s. You can only sign 28, so that means a maximum of 7 more commitments for Alabama. How do you expect this class to shape up? You had a prediction, think they'll sign 28 or maybe less than that?
If the past is any indication, they're going to be close.
Yeah,
if they're
get
not
as
right
many as
at
they
it.
can.
They're gonna get as many in here as they can, and if the right guys say yes, they'll sign right up to that 28 to make it all work.
Well, thanks, Travis, for the insight. Going to be an exciting time as we approach National Signing Day on February 2nd. Remember, you can find Travis anytime at BamaOnline.com. John?